Just wanted to make a quick video on my 416 build, kind of recap. Finally got it to the range. I know it's literally been years building this thing out, but you know, some things take a while. This was absolutely awesome. X2 dev group, charging handle right there. So when I had originally done this is the Brownells barrel, and because the locking setup is different, it doesn't use a pin like the original 416, because this is an A5 type upper, so it has a little slot that has to go in the barrel shoulder that locks up against the kind of like trunnion area, if you will, upper extension. But anyway, so that had to be machined out, and one of the things with that is you had to make sure that your locking lugs for the bolts were properly lined up with the locking lugs in the trunnion. And I didn't, even doing it free-handed, I was just using a file and a grinding wheel. I was able to do it excellently, and firing this, everything just, worked absolutely perfectly. You can see right there on the end where the rounds were coming out, hitting the brass deflector. I was using a mix of 75 grain Hornady Frontier and 69 grain ADI. And they were coming out kind of at a 4 o'clock position, as far as I could tell. Within 80 rounds, there are a bunch of different things I was trying to do. Obviously, I was trying to get these sighted in pretty well with the iron sights before I put an optic on it. Just wanted to see the function, just seeing how well the whole thing worked in terms of speed and all that. Obviously, bolt catch and release, trigger, everything worked really, really well. This handguard is quite light compared to, every other 416 handguard out there. And it really showed. And it didn't just show in terms of handling and how easy it was to, just hold the gun for a while. It also showed in terms of, even after 80 rounds in 15 minutes, probably less actually, but 15 minutes at most, this area around the gas block here was only just warm. It wasn't even hot. And there's just so much room in here where you can have airflow getting through, that there's just not enough material here to soak in heat, and it doesn't trap it. And that worked way better than I expected it to, based on a bunch of other firearms I've had. And then finally, we have this Hiperfire Hipercomp. Now, if you haven't seen the videos that Hiperfire did in terms of testing their compensator, it's called the Hipercomp, but it's less of a compensator, more of a muzzle brake. In terms of their muzzle brake performance, the fluid dynamic stuff that they did in order to design it, and then the testing they did, it's definitely something worth watching, because I forget what website had it, but there is one website, one particular guy, I want to say up in Oregon, who made one of the most comprehensive at the time tests of flash hiders, compensators, and muzzle brakes. And he, broke them down. He had 50 different ones, and he had a first round of testing and a second round of testing when he got other stuff. This compensator was not among the ones he tested because it didn't exist at the time, but this compensator was tested against this muzzle brake was tested against the very best muzzle brakes that were in that very comprehensive test. And it performed significantly better than all of them. And shooting this the other day, I can say, yeah, absolutely. Now, that being said, that's all I really wanted to do with it. The plan is not to have that there in the long term. I thought I might, because it is designed to essentially be like A2 profile. I had an A2 muzzle device from B&T. And apparently this isn't actually A2 profile. I think it might just be a little bit too long. The diameter's correct, but either it's too long or the, walking shoulder there isn't correct or something about it. But doesn't really matter because I was going to switch out to a different suppressor on this eventually rather than get any of the B&Ts. So, very impressive with how well that worked. The only issue with it is for every magazine around 4 or 5. You get like a strong wind coming back at you. Obviously most of the concussive force is going to the side, but as the shooter, there's like a wind that comes back at you because this muzzle brake. And around 4 or 5, you really start feeling it in your nose. And I'm like, okay, yeah, just, go through the testing I wanted to go through during the, shoot. But that's, that one's going up for sale. I'm not going to keep that on there. Plus I have a ton of other muzzle brake designs and flash hiders and stuff that I want to put on there to try out. They're kind of just overlooking the gun. And that's kind of a recap of where this is. Just waiting for its new optic.